Good afternoon all. Hope everyone's weekend is going well. There's a lot of chainsawing going on outside that I'm hoping is not coming through too loudly. The weather was horrible last weekend and there's quite a number of trees down, so this is probably the first opportunity a lot of people have had to fix stuff. So hopefully that's not too bad. Michael suggested doing a video on installing mech mounts. Some for the mainline loco ones are separate to the kit, which I thought wasn't a terrible idea. So I'm getting, in the background, I'm getting a head start on writing instructions, but we thought we'd chuck this one in there as a quick, or hopefully it'll be helpful. These engine mounts, these engine mounts, they come in a stick like this. Some locos, so the Railmaster DX has engine mounts or like mech mounts already in the running boards. The DSCs, have they just screw it up straight into the running board, so they don't have these. There's many ways of skinning this cat. This just happens to be my preferred way. I find it quick, easy, reliable. So I'm going to be using our coupler gauges, which I don't know where I was before these came along. These things make stuff so convenient. Like I said, there's many ways of skinning the cat. You could just put a piece of plastic under the headstock and follow along the same as how I'm doing this. I know Roger Cullum from Self-Dot Models, he has made his own following a set of instructions. I believe he said from an instruction article that was in a it was a model railway journal from years and years and years ago, and it's just always been reliable and he's stuck with it, and sure, why not? As long as you've got something consistent really is the key to this. On these are 3D printed ones. I think they're 3D printed at least. But there's a glass fibre in them. So the nice thing about them is if you, this is just our photography thing that we use when we're photographing locos. If you don't have a spare piece of leftover track like this, you can just put these straight on the layout, because it can't short the layout, which is nice. Also is also useful if you've got a wagon that likes to keep on uncoupling. You can just put this on straight up to it there and then, and this end is the coupler gauge and that's the headstock height. You'll be able to find out immediately if you've got a coupler that's somewhat a little saggy. Mostly what's going to happen here is this is just an exercise in how to divide up this locomotive really. So I guess first things first is we can mark up a few things. So let's start here. So this is the mech that comes with our kits. We will find out this measurement will do. So we got 91 across the bottom end of that plate there. So 91 divided by 2 is 45.5. Hopefully I can do this without trying to get my hands in here too much, but apologies if I do. So Northyard put a piece of electrical tape under here, so pencil will do the job. What did I say? 45.5? Yeah, 45.5. 40. There we go. While I'm here, you guys have seen me talk about this thing for punching rivets, but it does many jobs. What I'm going to do is just slide a square in here and eyeball halfway up these mech holes. And scribe a line between them. Just want that later. And this one's going to need a smaller ruler. There we go. So with that, we can turn our attention now to the running boards. Out of interest, this is the underframe that we've been test fitting parts to, for interest's sake. Most of these etches are revision 3 etches. The ones that are in the kit are now revision 4. But we've put so many parts on this thing now. You can see the 2 meganewton jaw gearbox striker plate on there. We put so many parts on this now, we may as well use it. There's some bits in these etches that I thought I could have made better, so that's why I did a new revision. But I've been around long enough that I can probably manhandle this into a locomotive. So it's probably going to be the DFB for what I need for the instructions. It'll be fine. So we need to find halfway on this thing as well, and this thing should be, and I'll check, 245 overhead stocks. Let's see. Yep, 245 overhead stocks. So we better get halfway on this. Which should be 1 to 2.5, thereabouts. 1, 2, 2. And a bit. And we'll put that to the other side as well. Actually, I might measure it because I've got the jacking points on, the tie down points on here now, which is going to make this awkward. Alrighty. So, don't know how well that comes up. So we have a halfway point. Now what I'm going to do is transfer that halfway point to the inside. And to make it a bit, actually yes I will. To make that a bit easier to see, I'm going to use a trick that an old fitter and turner showed me years ago, I think. Alright, Sharpie. Right, give that a couple of seconds to dry. Now, if you're worried about the Sharpie being on the inside, you can, once you're done, just wipe it off with something with alcohol in it, like whiteboard cleaner or spray and wipe. That'll also work. Right. This is not going to work either, is it? Because of this. Okay, we might just have to eyeball it. So ideally, you probably would have done this potentially before the tie-down points have been put in. But like I said, we've been test driving bits on this, and even if you did do it with the jacking points or tie-down points in there, probably not the end of the world. Like, at the end of the day, if you're 0.5 millimetre out on all this, it's, for this loco, it's probably not going to make much difference. But being closer, not sure if you can get that or not. Being on the inside, but ready. So that's that. So now what we're going to do, let's put these on here. Oh, hold on a second. That'll probably help with that. There we go. Right. Oh. So what I have just done is eyeballed the side to side to make so the centre of the coupler gauge is on the centre of the locomotive. You can also probably, if you're really bent out of shape about it, stick a ruler under here. So like 4 mil. Right, 4 mil. Yep. Looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do from here is I can see the marks on between the two holes. What I'm going to do is probably actually get out my Sharpie again and put some marks in here. So line up the mech with the marks on the inside. If you can't see them, then you could probably take the motor off if you really needed to. I think I've got it. Well, I'm just going to roughly mark out where these things are going to end up. Yeah. Alright, hopefully I should have some rough markings, yep. Alright. So I think what I'll do also is, to make marking this a little bit easier, I'm just going to take these drive shafts off, which should be fine. Just when you're putting them back on, you don't want them up against the motor. And it needs to be a gap there, and there needs to be a gap in between the two shafts in there. So we'll scooch this back a bit and take these off real quick. Okay. And reline up our centre marks. I can see it better on this side. Should have done it this way. Oh. Yeah. Get out of there, you're being annoying. Yeah. Correct. Now, so I've already lopped one of these off and cleaned up the back of it. You'll need to do that. And I'm just going to eyeball it, I think. I'll find a pair of tweezers to make this a bit easier. Well, drop this, holding this in place, drop this in here. Now we can scrub on that and that. And we have, because it's on the inside, this is going to be difficult for this camera to pick up, but we now have two scribed lines on the inside of there. And now all you'll need to do is solder that in place like so. Repeat with all four, and boom, it's in. I'm not going to go that far with this one because there's still some stuff that I need to stick on here. So I'll redo that step later. Yeah, so that's doing it my way. Well, all, I have moved down with the model to show you the other aspect of this coupler gauge. I've got a piece of white cardboard here so you can hopefully see what I'm talking about. There'll be a few apologies. I'm going to swap these wagons out in a minute, so I'll have to put you down to use my hands in a second. But you'll see here we have the coupler gauges are back to back currently, probably not how you would normally use them, but it gives you an idea of the point we're trying to make here. So you'll see the point, this wagon here, the point of it, can I get it? Is it going to focus? There we go. So the point of this coupler gauge is like right on the point of the, oh God, there we go, point on in line with the hook. So that is a wagon good to go. The flip side of this is this wagon's always going to give you troubles unless that coupler is fixed. Now there's many ways you can skin that cat as well. You can put a piece of scrap white metal out of the kit underneath there. You can put a piece of plastic under there. Anything that makes it look like it's like a wear pad. There's a bit of detail on that in the instructions on like examples of how the real railroad fixes it, that you can make it look like in the model form fix this. So that's a standard NZR coupler. Now I'll just put you down for a minute and I'll get the bogie wagons out. Okay, so we've got the bogie wagons. These are both UKs of different eras. That one there is a UKK, and that one there is standard UK. So one of these has your standard NZR type couplers for that era with the transition head in it, and the other one has alliance couplers. So you can see there it still works perfectly, exactly the same as with NZR couplers. So whether you're using KD's, NZR's transition head in this case, it doesn't really matter. It all works the same, and you're going to get some good consistency out of your fleet, and it'll make your running night a whole lot better. If you guys have any further questions about that, by all means let us know. I didn't mention it the other day either, by the way. We do have these handrail gauges. There's one for the DF, has all flavours of the DF on it. So this does make bending handrails consistently a lot easier. I love this thing. Yeah, so if you in the business of wanting one of them as well, you can pick one of them up off our website. Both the handrail gauge and the coupler height gauge, they're both a one-off purchase. They should last you ages. I've had these coupler gauges for, gosh, probably 10 or so years, and still perfect. So there's that. I think that's about all I can tell you about coupler heights. Yeah, if there's anything else you want to know, drop us an email or drop us a comment. We check that both pretty regularly. Thanks for stopping by for the afternoon. We hope that helped. Like and subscribe, as I say. And we will see you in the next video. Happy modelling. Bye.